Heroes and Legends War of Bitter Rivals Episode 7. The Supapina were a power within the Androsican Empire, but were largely quiet during this entire war. They pride themselves as being the generation of Noma. Noma being the baby sister of Sonoma, who was the husband husband of Natasha LaFleur and Darius's father. Now the Supapina and the age of the generation Noma had their apex during the Great War, but now they still lived in glory of the past, although the time for them was over. E.P. Trey was the head of Supapina. He wanted nothing more than to secure a major victory for the generation of Noma. His wife, Viv, was also his helper, and they're all very prideful of their lineage. Dario was the advisor and friend to Trey, and he advised him from their spies, but the elder main forces left Elishu and failed to take Alpina Castle. This sparked Pasca's interest as she served as the Grand General of the Supapina. She was a mighty warrior and very strong. The new officers, Ped and Huffy, were very close, and they recently joined Supapina during the time of Natasha's rule, when she was still alive. Huffy was very displeased by the Supapina's pride in Noma, because the generation Noma was over, and he was getting disgusted, and he wanted to leave. But his friend Ped, who was a descendant of Klakosatru, who left the Klakosatru for Supapina because the Klakosatru had fallen, and those two were close. So Huffy was like, he will stay in Supapina as long as his friend Ped is there. But he did not know if something happened to Ped, what would Huffy do? In the meanwhile, Trey and Dario devised a plan to launch an attack. A plan on attack on Elishu. If they could take down the elders, then glory would certainly be theirs. Speaking of the elders, Ira, who was the second in command of the elder forces, was talking to Damien, wanting to know his true intentions for starting this war in the first place, bringing back the dimensions and the likes. Damien explained that in order for him to gain his true power, he must allow the youngsters, the 8, 4 from Bilderon and 4 from Androsica, who have his power, to fight, and he used his power to their full capacity. And so, when he was ready to take his power back, he could do so with ease. Still, as the war dragged on, it was unclear who the clear winner would be. Ara advised Damien that he should end this war quickly before more casualties occur. But Damien, like Darius, decided to go on a journey north, to clear his head, and to go on a prayer and fasting journey to figure out his next move. While Damien left the issue, Ira did likewise as well, so he could confront Darius and tell Darius the truth and the true future of Androsica. Seeing all this, the Supapina knew that this was the only time for them to actually take Elishu, now that the major players of the elders were now gone. Elsewhere, in the battle of the Pooh Valley, the Grand General of Androsica, Justin, and his forces were fighting Tero's army. Tero secretly worked with the Essene to try to ambush the forces of and Justin and Rishio worked together to thwart Tero's plans. The Essene was being led by X-15, an Essene android that was created by the original leader of the Essene and Hatari's father, Taran Rolisine. After beating back Tero's forces, Justin Jolston noticed that Tero looked kinda ill and was coughing uncontrollably during the bout. He then noted that Tero was secretly ill and would not have much time left in the world of the living. And so he quickly began to mobilize his forces and told Horatio to do the same. For the time to end the Watermans was near. Elsewhere, in another battle, the elder forces in the Sin clan and clan space were fighting the combined forces of the Allen Creson army, led by Patrice and Vera Allen, and along with the Christian allies. Sin Magnus, along with his advisor, Juan Wells, used their brawn and strategy to push back the Allen Christian coalition. Seeing that it was hopeless to try and defeat the Sin clan by themselves, the Allen Christian army retreated. Magnus knew that the armies of his enemies will not rest until they all are eliminated. So he prided himself, knowing that victory will soon be at hand. But unknown to all of them, things in this war were about to change.